Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching LGBT Healthcare and Me, a presentation sponsored by Minnesota Department of Health. I'm Todd Michael Barnes. Well, on today's episode, Monkeypox sets off a rainbow of health alarms this summer as the World Health Organization and the U.S. declare the virus a public health emergency. Ted Cruz wants to overturn gay marriage, and Governor Ron DeSantis moves to revoke a restaurant's liquor license after a restaurant holds a drag brunch with children invited. And Maddie Laidlaw, LGBTQ liaison at the Minnesota Department of Health, stops by to talk about the importance of getting our COVID-19 vaccine series and booster shots. And we welcome our special guest, Kevin Stocks, Executive Director of the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus. During this episode, we talked to Kevin Stocks about his experience leading one of Minnesota's most prominent music groups. We're also treated to a sampling of chorus harmonies, and we asked the question of the day to you and our viewers: how has your life changed since COVID-19? Since March 2020, when the world shut down due to undergoing the worst pandemic in 100 years, the entire way we do life seems to have changed. We've changed the way we work, and eat, and play. And we're understanding more and more which behaviors and lifestyles will stay with us permanently and which will disappear. Gallup recently reported 45% of employees in the U.S. are working from home, with 2/3 of white-collar workers, or 67%, working from home exclusively or part-time. 90% report they hope to continue working remotely because it helps balance their work and personal obligations and improves their overall well-being. According to a survey by Owl Labs and Global Workplace Analytics, nearly 50% said they would take a pay cut to continue working from home. So today we ask, how has your life changed since the start of COVID-19? The Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus has been building community through music for 40 seasons. I recently got a chance to sit down with one of its key leaders, Kevin Stocks, Executive Director of the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, to talk about what it's been like since he began his job right before the COVID-19 pandemic started, and how the chorus has fared so well through the greatest health crisis the world has endured in over 100 years.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great opportunity to chat with you. Thank you for that. I was one of those people that came to Minnesota for college and never really left. I found a home here. I found my husband here, and this has certainly become my home now. And it has been a whirlwind for us.
Somewhere, 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 somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
We just wrapped up a concert, and this was our first concert back at what we consider our home venue. So our last concert there was December of 2019. So it has been a long time since we've been able to kind of get back to what might feel like is normal. And I started my role just a month and a half before that concert. So
Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles like lemon drops away off the chimney tops, that's where you'll find me.
the pandemic, we celebrated our 40th anniversary. So we're really proud of the legacy that this chorus has made in our community. Organization came about at an interesting time, 1981, when the AIDS crisis was coming up, and of course, organizations around the country had a lot to say and a lot to speak about when that was going on, and so throughout these 40 years, our organization has really been one that tries to speak to the world that's around us and speak to the topics that affect our community specifically, but also our community as a whole.
I'm not sure the dirty little things you see, but damn it, hallelujah, I'm clean, I'm clean. Oh yes, I'm clean. In case you didn't know, you can ask my granny. I've scrubbed all the crannies from my head down to my toes. Oh yes, I'm clean. Oh yes, I'm clean, clean, but house. I'm not sure the nasty, dirty little things you see, but damn it, hallelujah, I'm clean.
We really leaned on the talents of our community, internal community. We had some singers who were videographers. We had some singers who had audio interests. So we kind of picked the various skills that existed within our organization and just did whatever we could. We were very strict about making sure that we followed guidelines to make sure our community was safe. Certainly, we exist as a community that has higher levels of underlying conditions that impact our community. We probably have a higher level of folks who are living with HIV and AIDS. So making sure that we could do our programming in a way that was safe while this pandemic was going on. But yeah, we also relied on our community of supporters. We created a kind of a patron subscription program where they could, subscribe to our season, and we sent them some little prizes and swag and various things throughout the season. We delivered cookies to their doorstep, and really just trying to build and address the idea of community being so important for us.
I will lay me down. When you're down and down.
You can't be something if you can't imagine it. If you can't imagine it, you can't. If you can't see it, you can't imagine it. So to be represented and be out and proud in front of our community, presenting concerts, doing outreach, it is really important for us because we really think that being out there is gonna inspire future generations. So yeah, we've just had a wonderful run of 40 years. Looking forward to 40 more plus, and there's always going to be something to sing about, and there's also always going to be something to work for.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in
Health-related headlines begin right now. According to the New York Times, gay and bisexual men have been consumed all summer long with similar concern about the spike in monkeypox cases among men who have sex with men. The Times reports there is widespread fear of the virus and fear of the potential stigma, along with others fearing the vaccine itself. For some, says the Times, this is an echo of the hesitancy and mistrust that hindered the coronavirus response. So, is monkeypox an MSM disease? According to most reports throughout the country and around the world, men who have sex with men have been overwhelmingly the majority of people with the disease, upwards of 98 to 99% of all cases. Right now, health officials are directing their messaging to men who have sex with men, taking great caution not to inflame stigma. The World Health Organization recently declared monkeypox as a global health emergency. Monkeypox is caused by a virus, usually a self-limiting disease with symptoms lasting 2 to 4 weeks. Severe cases can occur, but the World Health Organization reports only 3 to 6% of the cases have been fatal so far. Vaccines used during the smallpox eradication also provided protection against monkeypox. Newer vaccines have been developed, with one approved for the prevention of monkeypox. Monkeypox is transmitted to humans through close contact with an infected person or animal, or with material contaminated with the virus. Monkeypox is transmitted from one person to another by close contact with lesions or body fluids, respiratory droplets, and contaminated materials such as bedding. For more information on how to keep you and your loved ones safe, visit www.state.mn.us. That's www.state.mn.us. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, says he believes the Supreme Court's ruling to legalize gay marriage was wrong, according to Axios. Cruz made his remarks on his podcast, The Cloakroom, saying the ruling was clearly wrong. Cruz's comments come at a raw time for the LGBTQ community following the Supreme Court's recent ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade. Contraception and gay marriage top the growing list of other legal precedents that Democrats and other activists are now concerned could be next to be overturned. And Yahoo News reports a Republican House member who recently voted against legislation introduced in Congress to permanently protect gay marriage and codify such protections as federal law attended his gay son's wedding just days after his no vote on the gay marriage bill. The gay son of Representative Glenn Thompson confirmed he married the love of his life and said the congressman was there to commemorate the special day. A spokesperson for the representative said, Congressman and Mrs. Thompson were thrilled to attend and celebrate their son's marriage on Friday night as he began this new chapter in his life. And the Thompsons said they're very happy to welcome their new son-in-law into their family. The Department of Justice announced a Maryland man faces federal hate crime charges for allegedly posing as a federal officer and targeting gay men in a series of attacks at a Washington, D.C. park. ABC News reports Department of Justice lawyers assert Michael Thomas Pruden, 48, attacked 5 men with a chemical irritant at the Meridian Hill Park, 5 different incidents between years 2018 and 2021. Pruden was indicted last month by a federal grand jury on 5 counts of assault on federal land, 1 count of impersonating a federal officer, and a hate crime sentencing enhancement because the DOJ says Pruden assailed 4 people because of their perceived sexual orientation. Now, Meridian Hill Park is known in the D.C. area as a place to cruise for gay men, according to the Department of Justice indictment. ABC News reports the indictment includes information that Pruden was an alleged frequent visitor of the park, and he was attacked by men who approached them with a flashlight, giving them police-style commands, and spraying them with a chemical irritant. And finally, The Hill reports Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently called for the revocation of a restaurant's liquor license. Well, the restaurant called Our House is a restaurant that allegedly violated a 1947 Florida State Supreme Court ruling that says it's a public nuisance when men impersonate women in a suggestive and indecent fashion. The complaint alleges not only were there minors there, but the bar also had a children's menu and a drag show. Now, drag shows have become the target of recent right-wing ire. The restaurant told the Miami Herald it was hoping to resolve the incident and called it a misunderstanding. Well, this episode is dedicated to any queer or trans person who may be feeling alone or who may just need a friend. Because here, our sacred word is all. This past week, I asked viewer favorite Maddie Laidlaw from the Minnesota Department of Health about what we should be doing to keep ourselves safe during this phase of COVID-19 and how her life has changed since the beginning of the pandemic.
I'm Maddie Laidlaw. I use she, her pronouns. We're still seeing that the vaccines and boosters are preventing people from getting really sick, ending up in the hospital, or dying from COVID. And so at this point in the pandemic, those are the real goals behind vaccination. And that's really important. And so even though you may get infected with COVID after getting all your boosters, all your vaccine doses, you're doing what we are telling you to do, you're not going to get as sick as if you didn't have those vaccines. So that's really key. Some other things that we can do, we've been saying kind of a lot of the same messages over and over again, but they're still true. If you're sick, stay home. Just to make sure that we're protecting each other. If you have any of the symptoms from COVID-19, make sure you're going and getting tested. If someone has told you that they have a positive test for COVID, also make sure that you're getting tested as well. And that can be at-home tests, which we know a lot of people, that's what they're choosing to do because it's so convenient. Or you can go into a testing site and get the test as well. If you're somebody who does test positive and you're likely to get really sick from COVID, definitely reach out to a healthcare provider about getting treatment. That's a key development in the pandemic that's been so important is for those that are at higher risk, treatment is available now, whereas before it was pretty rare to get connected to that. And we actually have some sites through the state that are test to treat sites. So you can go in, get tested for COVID, and then if you qualify for treatment because you tested positive and you might get really sick from it because of other health conditions, they can actually get you access to treatment right there. I mean, it's been pretty significant for me. I think one of the key things that this has brought kind of to my core way of living is how important community care is. I was always someone who tried to consider the needs of others, but going through a pandemic and seeing how communities most impacted by inequities were really hard hit by COVID has just brought home to me how important it is that we show up for each other. I have the privilege of being able to work from home. And so that's something that I've decided to do to try to protect others and make it so I'm not spreading disease. Like I said, I'm still wearing masks in indoor spaces and around a lot of people. I'm doing virtual appointments for like doctor's appointments or therapy or things like that. And then just like the importance of like my responsibility to my community is that I have access to this power and this information. And it's important for me to be giving that information at whatever opportunities I can to communities so that we're able to take care of each other. It's also made it so that I really cherish the moments that I have with people, because we went so long without being able to do that. Now when I get to see, my loved ones, it's just such a gift to me. It's also brought home like who my people are. I've definitely had
Mm.
to let go of
Mm-hmm.
some people in my life, because they were holding me back from being my happiest self. And I just really know who my loved ones are. And because you have to be so thoughtful about when we're choosing to gather with each other, really thinking about who are the people that are important to me and what relationships do I want to continue to maintain. And then I kind of hinted at it, but prioritizing self care has become imperative to survival. Being in this role can be really emotionally taxing,
Mm.
for a number of reasons. And in order to continue to serve my community, I really needed to step back from trying to do it all
Mm.
and thinking about when can I build in rest? What are the important times when I need to step back? Am I listening to my body and my mind, and making sure that I'm attending to those needs? Therapy has been a lifesaver through this pandemic. Shout out to all the mental health providers. You are really carrying so much right now.
Yes.
And then time in nature. We kind of talked about this briefly before the interview, but I'm going to be going to my family cabin. I've been doing a
Yay.
lot of hiking and things like that. So being in nature has been very grounding for me.
Equity News Network will be at the Minnesota POC Pride Festival in Powderhorn Park on Sunday, August 21st, along with nurses to deliver free COVID-19 vaccination series and booster shots. All persons who receive a COVID-19 vaccine or booster shot will receive a $50 Visa gift card. So come and say hello. Join us Sunday, August 21st at Powderhorn Park to get your vaccination, COVID-19 vaccine, or your free booster shot. This week we asked our Pink Power panel members, just how has your life changed since the start of COVID-19? And so I wanted to just open up the question tonight. How has your life changed since COVID? The good, the bad, or the ugly?
Well, I'll start. And what I want to say is that I feel like when it comes to anything medical, back in the days, people say, oh, you're a hypochondriac, you're a hypochondriac. I feel like COVID has made me into a serious hypochondriac. I'm worried about every snipple, every sneeze, I'm worried about anything I touch or anything somebody gives me, I want to clean it. In the very beginning of COVID, now I'm a little bit more relaxed, but I'm still start thinking now like that I've been more relaxed. I'm more now thinking about monkeypox and everything else. So it's like now, did I wash my hands when I got home? Did, before I started eating this or cooking this? So I don't know, like Mosaius, what do you think? Or Joe?
I think that there's the good, the bad, and the ugly that, that Todd mentioned. The good, my professional life has my professional life has began, and I've been able to develop professionally during COVID, which turns out to be a blessing in disguise. I think that I didn't know, because I was just gaining traction and footage in the advocacy world around issues for folks living with HIV and persons impacted by the criminal justice system. And I was meeting people, and I was doing talks and sharing my story, and then COVID hit. And then I thought, how can I turn this around because everything was just going for me. But it turns out that, I was hired by Hennepin Healthcare in the Research Institute, and it opened up a door for me professionally where my life it will never be the same just because of the experience and the development that I've gone through. The bad would be the loss of social connection amongst people. For me, that's a real need. When I think about the needs of Monseis, of who I am, I like to feel connected to people. I like to feel named, known, and celebrated. And I also like to celebrate, know, and name people as well. And so that really hindered.
A lot.
Yes, it neglected a part of me, and a part of me, still is neglected in those ways. And hopefully that will pick up bigger and better than ever when this turns around. And for the ugly, it really divided people. Not that we didn't already know that there was division within our country and within our families and within our friends. But it became political. A part of it became political, and it was, if you get the vaccine, you're a Democrat, and if you get don't, then you're a Republican, and everybody was taking a stand and made it political. Also, a part of the ugly is that I noticed stigma and shaming. There's certain do-gooders that thought, we're not going to get it because we don't go out and we wear masks and we wash our hands and we sanitize. And
exactly.
Did you hear so and so, and et cetera? And so that type of ugly, that type of gossip, that type of I'm better than you attitude, it really reared its ugly head during COVID. Not to mention how the racial disparities were highlighted once again, meaning that there are, for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks, there was no plan in place, as usual, to serve those communities in a way that was equitable.
Yeah, I just think that people are more distant now. And it takes a lot of planning and a lot of relying on like a negative COVID test to do anything nowadays. I often feel like we plan so far in advance before COVID. We're going to do this. We're going to go to visit our family, or we're going to meet up with family members and go on a vacation. And it just seems like at the last minute, people have to drop out because they have COVID or they have a COVID exposure. They care about their loved ones. They don't want to go because they're uncertain. And then just things in the workday. I meet with people that work in the same building as me on Zoom now. People just don't want to come back together in person. I think that's been a huge change. Something we don't talk about. People are like glued to their devices. And I feel like COVID has made that even more
easier to do. Yeah.
It's much easier now. Now we don't even have to meet with people. A lot of us don't even have to actually go to work all of the time. So what do? We sit on our device. Good or bad, I'm not sure, but I prefer in-person meetings. I prefer hanging out with people. I was going to quite a few meetings before COVID. And now just kind of getting back into them. It's good to see that, that people are resilient and that people still do want to have the quote unquote normal life. I just find it really interesting, what the new normal is or what the current normal is. And it all revolves around this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic.
But this is something that you always felt, Joe. This is something I was sitting here thinking while you were talking. I'm like, this is how you always feel. And it's good that you feel that way, because that in-person interaction in real life it's one of the best things that you can have. It's one of the best networking, building things that you could do when you're trying to grow or build something. It's best to be in person. Like you said on the last episode, talking about the internet and how things can be perceived one way and it could actually be like a whole completely different way in real life. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with you with this. And I know that you're correct. And right now it's like, that's what most of us are. We're like literally connected to our devices. You know, a lot of people were like that for a good 2 or 3 months when we were quarantined. And so now it's kind of gotten, you know, as an addiction, addictions, it takes like 30 days or 20 days for you to stop doing stuff for you to fully be kind of a bit recovered. Doesn't mean it's going out your system. But it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's there. So like people are still kind of stuck on that mode. How do we get out of that, Joe?
Mm-hmm. And then this is how Zoom also works too.
Your mic.
Yes, your mic. Either you said the worst thing or the best thing that you ever said in your life, and somebody's like, your mic, your mic.
Yeah,
You are too funny, Mosaic. That was cute.
that was good. That was good. That was good. Well, the economy and monkeypox and inflation and gas prices and January 6 hearings and the Supreme Court coming down with decisions that have recently impacted people's lives. What are you hearing on the ground, and how are you personally dealing with the influx of all of the incoming in so many different areas?
Look, Todd, if I catch monkeypox, I'm going to go bananas.
Oh, he's got him tonight, folks. He's got jokes.
I'm going bananas. You know, and that song by Madonna from when she was breathless and Dick Tracy.
but you know what I'm hearing is that, you know, it's almost like a gay disease. You know, they're framing it in a way that you know, that it can be contracted through sexual intercourse or interactions. And I heard something about New York was giving gay men vaccinations or some type of medications, just in that way of targeting a marginalized community. You know,
I heard the same thing.
I'm
sorry, but yep. I heard the same exact thing. And it's weird because it's like, people was asking me like, how do you catch the monkeypox? And I said, I think it's through sexual exposure. I wasn't referencing to be gay folks. So I was just talking about, when I said that was like for anyone, but what I've seen that's exactly where it was spread most during Pride and different Pride events. So I mean, it's wild. I just hope that people don't take it and think that that's only it's gay people that get it.
Yeah, because that further perpetuates stigma and discrimination within our community.
Yeah.
So we need more information about this monkeypox and what this means and how you catch it and how it's transmitted.
We need more information.
Exactly.
We need more information communicated to the right communities in the right way. Not everybody learns from the same academic standards of teaching. You know, we need audio, visual, we need hands-on. We need all of that allocated in communities that are impacted the most.
Thank you to the Minnesota Department of Health, Maddie Laidlaw. Thank you to Kevin Stocks, and thank you to our Pink Power Panel. Remember, Deconstruction Zone, Losing Your Psychic Pounds, Rebooting Who You Are. The book written by Todd Michael Barnes and Louis Blaze is now available to order on Amazon just for you. If you or a loved one still needs to get the COVID-19 vaccine, visit the Vaccine Connector at the website address listed below. Today we discussed the topic of our quickly changing lives during COVID-19. But what we really talked about, just the same as every week, what we really discussed were the issues of self-worth and living with joyful love. Remember, LGBTQIA+ persons and our allies, you are not alone. You can find us 24/7 at our brand newly designed website, www.equitynewsnetwork.com. Find us us at our YouTube channel at Equity News Network. And don't forget to smash that like button and remember to hit subscribe. Until our next episode, and until we meet again, it's my hope we dish up some respect and lean in toward love. For all of us at ENN, Todd Barnes reporting.